Hello, PlayStation planners, players, protagonists, and pure geniuses. Welcome back to the channel and part 2 of Lorelei Passage. I hope you're all doing well today. I can't see anything left to say that the intro didn't cover, so why don't we just dive right into this. I captured something on camera that I think is more rare than a picture of Bigfoot or the Loch Ness Monster. And that is me putting together a road layout. One of the things I manage to always forget to press record for, because a lot of it is just brainstorming. It's not like I miss out on one recording. I'll spend over an hour figuring out how I'm going to design one city block before replicating it, and so I'll get portions of it, but never the whole thing like we have here, finally. So we're building the road layout to expand the neighborhood for the town of Pyrite. I'm paralleling this frontage road up here with the interstate, but I'm still trying to keep some distance because I'm going to have a railroad line that's going to wrap around there and maybe cross the bridge later on in the future. It's a pretty simple thing to do. You just get into your freeform tool. Sometimes you have to turn off everything but angle and road guidelines, but you can make a pretty decent parallel road even on a windy road without too much grief. So I tend to draw out a lot of my road layouts at first with dirt roads. They're cheaper. I can keep the game running without paying massive road maintenance fees. But I can still get a look at what the grid is going to look like, at least for 2-lane roads. If you go to upgrade to 4-lane and 6-lane roads, you lose a whole square grid line. So this neighborhood, I'm just kind of mirroring what's already on the other side for the most part. The design is a little flip-flopped, but yeah, I was just going with that as what I felt would go best with complementing the neighborhood we've already built, just to expand it, make it a bigger place, not a separate place. So now, yeah, you see how when I did the 4-lane road there, it's wider than the 2-lane road, so you lose some of your grid, and you have to be prepared for that when you build your grid layout. So I'm going through the old neighborhood, and I originally built it with the roads with the wide sidewalks, but it didn't cross my mind till later on in the build that gets rid of parking, and with these tiny 1x2 square grid houses, I can't imagine parking is something they are plentiful in, so I added in the wider roads. This cross section is a 2-lane road with bike paths. Just more connectivity. You know, we don't have really any transit. There's a railroad that comes into town later on, but that doesn't have lines that go through town. It just feeds the outside world so far with only passengers. So lots of paths, lots of bike lanes, sidewalks for people to get around here. So that is the base road layout. That's what we're going to start going with here. I need to put down our water pipes. Only take just a second here. I think I've said in my previous videos, from things I've seen and learned about this game for the realism sense, put your water pipes under the roads. That's where they would really be, and I feel like it kind of gives your city, even, you know, if you put time and effort into making something look good in a place it's not even going to be seen, shows a lot about your building character. So that's our road, or our water grid layout. Pretty basic, you know, go about every other block, and just total coverage, even at the cost of using a bit more water. Now we're going to get into the time-consuming process of planting houses and waiting for them to grow. And then we'll go and build a bunch of trees. So this is a really time-consuming process. I think I have this video sped up times 8 just to fit what was like a 30-minute process into a 3-minute video segment. I have to apologize for my lack of variety in music. I'm working on that right now. I'm using the Share Factory program on PlayStation 4 to make all my videos, and they give you like 20 songs that they're not bad, but they're demo songs for the program. So I have a friend who is a musician and is going to start writing music for me to plug into my videos. So that way, not only can you see what's being built by my hands in City Skylines, but also showing a dear friend's art matched with it. So I'm pretty excited for that. That's probably still a month or 2 away, but I will be all over about informing you guys when I know more about it. So these first 2 videos were really just building population, starting to get some money in the bank, some sustainability, just getting enough people there that they're not having to drive to the next town to grocery shop, in a sense. So once we get the population up, I think it gets up to almost 3,000 by the time I'm done with this half of the neighborhood. We'll be rocking and rolling, and part 3 is where we do all the fun stuff. I'm going to be adding in Midtown and train line, but we'll have time to talk about all that in the next video. So for this video, I'm going to entertain you guys with the thrilling aspect of City Skylines making the second neighborhood in town. Lots of high-octane building growing and tree planting going on in these first videos. Alright, so just kind of mirroring a similar idea of what was done in the first video. Nothing too crazy to it. I changed up the way the paths are a little bit. I made it to where they sort of bordered some of these commercial areas. You can see in some bigger cities when they're developing neighborhoods how ideas become progressive as the later blocks get built. You know, you'll see a change up in how a path was laid as opposed to where it was laid before. And plus, in a lot of real builds like this, they'll spend years going over an expansion to the city like this before even breaking ground on anything. I mean, years, probably decades in some cases, on an expansion like this. But the city of Pyrite is ambitious, and they're not willing to wait decades. They have the money, and they want to double in size now, within the next calendar year in the game lore. So this is with the pass added. Pretty much ready to just about press play and watch our garden of residential sprout from seedlings and turn into full blooming houses. I'm going to do a little bit of work on our commercial area here before going too nuts on that, though. So normally in a larger build, this is a temporary thing. I don't really keep a whole lot of generic industry, and the generic industry that I do have within my bigger cities, I have sitting within bigger complexes, just kind of as placeholders, add a little bit more diversity to a facility area. But otherwise, I like the Industries DLC. I like the just the realism to the industry side that you can get in City Skylines that there is to it. I love all the math, running all the numbers, and that's just entertaining to me. So, as temporary as I'd like to make that industry field seem, if this is only a 3-part build, then this is the industry they got. So I tried to make it seem to make sense without losing any sleep over some fancy design or complex with it. Alright, that's that. Now we press play and let everything build. Alright, our houses are starting to grow. It is springtime in the housing market in the city of Pyrite. Pyrite is actually fool's gold. I think there's some creative way I can thread that into the lore. So far all I've got is this is a border map with 2 different countries on either side of the Lorelei Passage. I'd like to implement some sort of a canal system maybe on both sides where countries have their own control over how ships are getting through their side of the passage. I don't know yet. But I know the idea for Pyrite here is that they want to expand their city before the opposing nation does on the other side. They want to have the bigger economy, the more, I don't know, the early bird gets the worm, you know, so they want to have dominance in the region before the other country starts to develop on their side of the passage. But that's all to be dove into later on. You know, I would really like to see this build continue, but considering the other 2 cities I'm already working on, I don't want to overextend my reach. I don't want to have so many projects going on that I'm not getting to completion on things. And right now, with the standstill I've had trying to make the next video for Poncho work, it looks like that's how it's going to be. But I would like to see this build continue. I can always put a hiatus on Poncho until I can get some of the planning ideas out for that. So let me know in the comments. I hope you guys are enjoying this content I'm putting out. This mini-series has been a lot of fun. So there's our sunken highway that we made, that we poofed into the game because it happened off camera. If the city continues, that's going to be one of the main arteries for Pyrite. I'm sure we'll see a lot of industry and trade coming off that road. So here we go, planting trees, making the world a better place with every house that we build. I make it sound, laboring, but this is actually my favorite part. It's relaxing. Usually by this point in time, I've been building for an hour or so, doing road layouts and all the other critical thinking that goes into it, especially in a bigger build. And once I get to the detailing stage, I'll put my AirPods in, listen to some music, and just get going on it. I do all of the stuff off the top of my head. I don't really have a plan in mind when I start. Now this episode, of course, I was just following the ideas that I had from episode 1, and this whole thing, all 3 parts, I did in like a matter of like 4 hours of just straight building. So to me, it wasn't like I was copying the idea. This was all the plan the entire time, and I just had to chop it up to make it YouTube worthy. I tried to put it all in one video, and it was just way too long. And chopping it up into parts, I don't have to explain so many things that are going a million miles a minute to try and fit it into a video. I can chop this up for shorter, slower parts in it with better explanations, and just casually narrate it as it plays out. So I'm trying to stay away from rocks on this build, which is kind of ironic considering both the town and the passage are named after minerals. Well, we'll get into that later. Just another part of the lore. The lore for the city. Can you tell I'm thinking about rocks right now? Oh my gosh. But, yeah, I'm trying to stay away from rocks. I'm trying to do a lot more trees with this build. And, I wasn't paying attention to my city and started running out of water. So I added in this emergency water tower, just opposite the one that we already had. I will, if I continue this build, make an actual water facility, but something small like this, a couple of water towers, something you'd see teenagers painting their names on in the summertime, is seems ideal for a city like this. Alright, so that's the basic idea. A couple of fixes I need to make down there with some of the commercial buildings because I historicalized them all, so as the influx of people come in and businesses are establishing and some of them closing down and then reestablishing like a new community would, I have to go through and keep resetting that. But I don't want these tall commercial buildings sitting within these neighborhoods of tiny houses. So now I'm just leveling out where that railroad is. Give it a really gentle slope up this hill here. It's not like the interstate. I want to have a really gentle slope that the train has to work as minimally as possible than it would normally be operating to make it up this incline, because that railroad would definitely go across that bridge. In a land area like this, with railroad already coming in on both sides, that would be one of the big drives to having a city here in the first place, would be the opportunity to be like the marshal of the railroad running through the territory. So we're just going to run that through as if it was a planned part of the city to connect it. But we'll see where the city goes. Wasn't trying to make this as perfect as the frontage road up top, because the dynamics of a train and how they turn and the incline they need is different than a car. So I tried to do a bit longer sweeping motion as much as I could fit within the space I had. So see, just kind of a gentle slope. Not much to it. Pretty, something pretty normal you'd see for a train, I think. So that's pretty much that. Part 3 is going to be a lot of fun. Add in a railroad and Midtown and just make it a really cool place. I hope you guys have all really enjoyed this video. I hope you're enjoying the content. Please like and subscribe. And I hope to see you all tuning in for part 3 of Lorelei Bay, the final part of this mini build.